Good day, gamers. 14 here, and welcome to episode 19 of Minecraft StoneBlock. Hello, everyone. Smack my face in the ceiling. Hello, everyone. I am doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well, beyond the smacking my face into the ceiling there. Apologies for not having an episode up last week. Unfortunately, all day Friday, I had one of those headaches that just kind of made, even thinking about working on anything kind of just uncomfortable and feeling more effort than it was worth, which, if you've ever had one of those headaches, they suck. Like, trying to get up and moving around doesn't really help. I had plenty of food, was plenty hydrated, just bad headache. It leads for a bad brain day. But we're back, and I'm looking forward to making some machines today, getting a little bit more chicken crossbreeding done, because there's a few more types of chickens that we need. We still have a lot more progress to make in all of the chickens, but there's a few specific chickens that I want to make. Today's goal is hopefully going to be having enough soul sand available to start sieving it, or to start sieving the compressed soul sand, in hopes of getting the ghast tears to make the mob capture devices, I believe, mob containment units. These mob imprisonment tools. Thank you. I'll get the right word eventually. The mob imprisonment tools to then, when I now go to the Nether, the End, and whatever other dimensions I need to go to, I can start capturing all the enemies that are there and then bring them back to the overworld to put them into the mob grinder. So with that all being said, let's go ahead and get started with our efforts for today. Since it's just going to be a little side thing while we wait for other machines to be built, we'll go ahead and start our first chicken breed for the day. We need iron. Let's see, where's our iron chicken? We need an iron chicken and a redstone chicken. Those put together, doing a crossbreed, makes a slag chicken. Now, slag is not something I need for much of anything, really. But what I can use it for is if you actually breed two slag chickens together, you get a chance of getting a rich slag chicken. The rich slag is going to be used for making some of the different phyto grows, the rich phyto grow, the fluxed phyto grow, and so on, to make certain machines that will help generate drops from seeds and plants much faster and easier. So these chickens are just going to be breeding for a little while. While we do that, what I now need to do is set up one of two abilities that I have at the moment to get access to soul sand. So we are going to be needing, let's see, the stone barrel. We've got a couple, let's see, we've got ourselves an empty fluid tank. I'm going to just grab a bunch of fluid pipe because this may have to be a little wonky with the setup. We'll see how it goes. So we've been getting these ancient spores for a while. We get them mostly from sieving sand when trying to get things like diamonds originally. Or not diamonds, excuse me. Was it gold? Yeah, we were trying to get gold a lot. So we've got a lot of these ancient spores. The main thing you use the ancient spores, you take a water bucket, take a stone barrel, and you get witch water. Witch water is then used for a few things. You can turn it into buckets of blood, but mostly I'll be using the witch water to turn sand into soul sand. Let's see. So we can actually set this up to do... Actually, that's going to be easier, come to think about it. Let me grab the chest. I want to grab an item pipe. And then let's grab some sand. I was originally thinking of, and I still might try to set this up, of basically setting up a method of automating, or not quite automating, but basically just faster generation of the witch water through piping the water itself in a circle to where it pulls out the witch water. But considering I have to put the witch water in the stone barrel itself, I may just do that. Let me grab some water, because obviously we need a tank of water to get started with this. Nope. Take a little fall damage. As a nice little handy update, I've been having this setup right here for the auto compressor running anytime I'm like doing stuff off camera, either digging or waiting for chickens and stuff. I just take the cobblestone generator, plug it here, pulls the cobblestone that's put directly into this crate, pulls it out into the auto compressor, it runs it through a cycle, pulled out into this small storage crate, and just basically creates a loop here. I now have my first sextuple compressed cobblestone. I still have a long way to go because I need the septuple, which is seven times compressed. This is 6 times compressed. So I still have a few hours of letting this thing run off camera while working on other things to get it to be where I need to make like the deep darkness portal and such. But for now, it's working. It just takes a while. So, original idea was essentially to do this. I'm going to set it up and see if it will work the way I was thinking of it. So we take this, we take the mechanical pipe that is for fluids, yes. We now take another mechanical pipe and we put this empty tank here, like so. So what's going to happen is we pull water from here. I need to put the ancient spores in it. Okay, so that's instantaneous. Now let's see how this works. Boop. Okay, that's what I thought. This now has witch water in it, but unfortunately because it's constantly pulling the water out of here. So let's make this a circle. See if it's... Let's see. We will disconnect that. Okay. Yeah, so it is not pulling because the pipe itself is full of water. Now, if we attempt to push water, nope, didn't think so. Yeah, so this was my original idea of, okay, oh, well, now has witch water in it. Perfect. So this now has 1998 of witch water. Not sure where it's missing the extra 2. Let's turn this off. 1999. All right. So that should get... I'm not sure why it's missing like 1 millibucket of water. Push. We're going to pull. We're going to pull. And then we're just going to disconnect this part. There we go. Okay. Let's set this. All right. Okay, so yeah, that was my original idea, was to attempt to basically make a circuit where the pipes would just continue to attempt to pull water out of the tank, push it into here. When this becomes witch water, to then push it in here, with the goal of every single time that I oop, there we go. With the goal being that every time that I made witch water into there, the pipe would have to empty out because it's attempting to push water into this tank, then to fill that tank. Didn't quite work, but that's all right. I do want to grab my bucket real quick because I've thought of a much simpler way to do this. We'll move these out of the way for a second. But we take the witch water, we add sand, we get soul sand. Easily done. So instead of having this other tank, which I'm not upset at all that I made, we're going to use it for other things, most definitely. We simply take a fluid pipe, put it here. We take an item pipe, put it here. We turn this to pull. That pulls water into there. We turn this to pull. That's going to pull items out of there. We can go ahead and put away those pipes. And now we essentially just do this. Ancient spore, sand. Ancient spore, sand. And we just do this back and forth. And that will get us a nice amount of the soul sand. Now again, we can just head to the nether and attempt to mine a bunch of soul sand. There's, no two ways about that. But I did want to try and have as much stuff as I could set up before I actually went to the nether, so I don't have to make too many trips to the nether. Especially when hunting down certain creatures there, I want to just go in, grab the creatures, bring them back, and then be able to get their drops from the mob grinders. But as you can see, this will work, fairly handily in terms of doing this. What I could also do, just as an aside, I got some soul sand here. If I break this, what I can do if I do want to make this a two-step process, or just be getting access to the if I want to be getting access to just the witch water, is I can put this fluid pipe here. I can make witch water and then turn this to pull, so it can't try to pull the water out of there. It's an incompatible liquid because you can only have one liquid in a pipe at a time. So I can just keep doing this to just make a bunch of witch water. Let me go grab some more spores. This was the other way that I was thinking of doing this, is basically as a two-step process where I just keep doing this to make a bunch of witch water. Once the pipe here is full, which thankfully enough, it's getting pretty full. Okay. I then take the tank, put it there, and there we go. So now we connect that back to here. We are going to straight connect this. We're going to pull. Turn this off. We turn this on. We pull from here. And then we just do the same thing again. We pick up the tank. We set this to pull. So now the only thing that it can pull out is witch water. And we finish it off. So it's a bit cumbersome to do it this way. I can just go ahead. Boop, there we go. And now we have 79 buckets of witch water. I think what I'll do to just have this work in a better way is to just be doing the right click with the spores, right click with the sand, and that'll get me what I need. Go ahead and break this. Break the water tank. We'll take the item pipe, put that right here, and we'll just do it reverse. We pull witch water, we pull the items, and then just keep clicking like this. So yeah, as much as I was thinking I was originally going to either attempt to make a circuit of fluid pipes or do it as a two-step, as I'm essentially doing now, I think I'm just going to set it to where I just have to like move between the two things that I right click and just make the soul sand that way. At the moment, I'm just finishing up this this batch of witch water. There are a few other things that you can use witch water for. There's some I think they're called poppets that you toss into a barrel of witch water, and it creates a blizz or a blaze. A couple other creatures that you can make as well with it. Right now, I mostly just want the soul sand to sieve. Because when you sieve soul sand, you have a chance of getting gas tiers. So yeah, we have now a nice amount of soul sand. It's not a lot, and I'll definitely be needing more given the drop chances in sieving. But at least at the moment, I've now made a bunch for you all to see, and can make more as necessary to get to the gas tiers. Let's go ahead and put the sand back away for a moment. We're going to empty out our inventory. Boop, boop. Put away these 2 empty fluid tanks. Put away the barrel. All right, so we take the soul sand that we've made so far. And again, this is method 1 of 2 that I'm going to make today. There we go. We now have 12 compressed soul sand. We can put this soul sand here in our nether crate. We take a look at this. We need to sieve it. If we sieve it through the string mesh, we get a chance of getting all of the different saplings, which is nice, and I will need to do eventually. But the main thing right here is getting nether quartz or gas tiers. Now we already have our fully enchanted diamond stiffened mesh. So hopefully with these 12 compressed soul sand that I have, we'll be able to get something. I did sieve a little bit of the compressed ground netherrack, the nether gravel, and got a little bit of draconium dust and some shulker pearls, which you saw before. I haven't taken them out of the inventory yet, so let's take them out just to see if that gets anything. Nope. I don't really have any use for the draconium dust or the shulker pearls yet. There's a couple things that I can make, but I'm not too worried about them at the moment. But it's nice to have them just in case. So let's take a look with our compressed soul sand here and see what we get. Again, we're going for gas tiers. We got a nice amount of nether quartz with that. More nether quartz. I'm just going to run through this set of compressed. Hey, there's our first gas tier. Look at that. More quartz. More quartz. Okay, so far we've gotten a whopping 1 gas tier, which is fine. I figure considering how low the drop chance is for the gas tier, it's probably going to take a lot of soul sand sieving to get an appreciable number of gas tiers. Now, of course, once we go to the nether, capture gas in our mob imprisonment tool, bring it back, we can now farm infinite gas tiers. A second gas tier, very nice. And looks like he is done sieving. So with all that, we got a whopping 2 gas tiers. Not that many. That's enough for 2 imprisonment tools, but that's okay. We are now going to check on our chicken crossbreeding, see how that's doing, and we're going to make the other method of gaining access to soul sand. Now, of course, there's mystic agriculture, which we can definitely do and will need to do. There's also chickens. Boop. Let's see. Oh, nice. We got a slag chicken. And we got a conductive iron chicken. Those are actually 2 different chickens that we need. I forgot that you can get those both from breeding from breeding redstone and iron. So yeah, Iron and redstone makes conductive iron, but redstone and iron also makes slag. So hey, that's 2 chickens down. That works. Okay, let's go ahead and put these in the egg laying setup, just so they can start becoming triple 10s eventually. Very nice. That, oh nope, not that one. Slag chicken. Change around my inventory. Boop. Slag chicken. There. Okay, cool. Slag and conductive iron. Very nice. Let's see. Dunskies. So let's go ahead and set up the next crossbreed, and then we'll make the next machine. Heading on back to our chicken bin. We are going to need clay and cactus green. Clay and cactus green. This is going to make a slime chicken, which is... I've been needing some different ways to get access to slimes for a while now. So this will do quite nicely. You can, in a pinch, use rice ball dough to make slime. It's kind of convoluted, and while I can do it, I wanted to try and get slime directly. So that's going to attempt to make some slime. Okay, let's see. So the thing that I want to make is going to be from Actually Additions, and it's the Atomic Reconstructor. Doesn't take a lot to make. An iron casing, and redstone. The iron casing is simply black quartz, which we have, sticks of any kind, and iron ingot. But what you can do with this is you can transform different materials into the Actually Additions versions of those materials. So redstone becomes redstonia, lapis becomes pallas, diamond becomes diamantine. But very importantly, for what we're looking to do right now, we can take sand and turn it into soul sand for sieving. You can also take rotten flesh and turn it into leather. But I mean, we have a fair amount of leather as is from our ground trap, so that's not really that useful. So we're going to need some iron. We're going to need some redstone. We're going to need some sticks. Grab some from there. And then we're going to need some black quartz. Now, we have a ton of crushed black quartz, but we haven't had to actually use any of it yet, so we don't have any smelted up. So I'm just going to smelt up like 8 pieces. Boop. There we go. Head back downstairs into the smeltery. At the very least, use the smelting factory here. Take that, smelt it up. There we go, our black quartz. Very nice. Okay. So again, we're making the atomic reconstructor. We make the iron casing. Oh, I need to actually convert those into iron. There we go. Try this again. We've got the iron casing. Now we have the atomic reconstructor. So I want to grab a little bit of blocks just because I'm not exactly sure how this works. I've used it in the past, but a very long time ago. One of my original playthroughs of SevTech, I was able to use this for a few different things. I don't remember off the top of my head whether or not it will convert the items laying on the ground, or if it converts the block itself. Like you have to place the block for it to convert it. So I'm going to grab a little bit of stone, essentially as a backstop for the beam, just so it doesn't accidentally convert something that I don't want it to. The whole basement is made out of... do I have one of those yet? I don't think I've crafted a lever, and I think I need a source of redstone power. Yeah, just cobblestone stick. I couldn't remember if I needed to actually, I got cobblestone downstairs. I'll use that. I think I have to give this like a redstone signal for it to turn on. So let's go downstairs and take a look. With all my power generation. We're going to grab a piece of cobblestone, make a stick, and cobblestone to make a lever. Okay, I'm going to set it up right here, firing this way. So I'm just going to have a little backstop of stone, say, right here, just to make sure. Now, again, I don't think the beam is, like, going to do anything to these universal cables or the chiseled dirt, but I don't want it to, like, start transforming all the stone that's behind this, if that's even possible. So I'm just going to make it, like, 2 blocks thick, just in case, and we'll do some science. So we take the atomic reconstructor, turn it there. Okay. Redstone mode is deactivation. All right. So it's got plenty of power. Let's put a lever on top of it. Oop. Cool. Okay. That works. So we can just turn that off like that. Blink. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take some sand. I'm pretty sure this beam doesn't do anything. This is going to be really stupid. No, okay, we're fine. So if we take the item, just drop it there. Perfect. It becomes soul sand. So that means if we take the whole stack. Nice. All right, so I do have my ring of magnetization. Let's take that off for right now. I'll drop all this here and just let it work its magic. So yeah, it looks like it can only... Yes, because it takes a certain amount of crystal flux per beam, it can only transform so much of the sand into soul sand at a time. Looks like the beam itself doesn't cost anything for it to fire out. It just depends on actually converting all the stuff. Bloop. Yeah, not bad at all. But yeah, as you can see, this is a lot faster than doing all the stuff with the witch water. Bloop. We just toss down like 8 or 10. Bloop. Very nice. So yeah, this is going to be a very fast way for me to get access to soul sand beyond simply either growing it with a plant, getting it from a chicken, or using the witch water method to make it. Again, I wanted to show off the witch water method just because I knew it was possible to do. And it's good to explore all the different ways that you can do something in a mod pack, especially a mod pack like this. Just so you know, hey, I've got access to these materials. I don't have access to these ones yet. What's going to be the best way for me to do things? Should I go and grind my way all the way up to getting to this point with witch water, or should I just use the atomic reconstructor, or vice versa? Again, depending on what mod pack you're playing, what type of materials you have access to, things like that. We'll go ahead and give our auto heavy sieve with a Steve. We'll give him a nice little boost with a meaty stew. And he's just going to sieve through all of that stuff. There's some stuff that I can do with the nether quartz, but not a lot at the moment. The main thing I'm going to be needing nether quartz for is getting access to the different cores and silicone from Applied Energistics. Okay. Ooh, we've gotten 6 gas tiers, so 7 gas tiers. Very nice. Okay. So we got 9 gas tiers all told from that. And it doesn't look like we've put much of a dent into our power supply. Let's go check the rest of it real quick. Nope, not even really touched it. Just this biogenerator running full tilt this entire time, filling this up. I've only had to fill this thing up once since I originally set it down here. And this thing along with the methane digester just running full tilt is keeping this place well powered. I do still have to set up the other generators. Oh, speaking of the other generators, I apparently forgot last time when doing one of the quests, when I made the disenchantment generator, I didn't claim the reward. So there we go. I've got the reward now. So we will toss that away. But now we have the atomic reconstructor. We can make a lot of different things from actually additions. Get access to those materials, which will be very nice. Let's go ahead and put away the stone. And we'll toss away the loot chest. We'll check on our chickens and make the next project. Let's see. Do we have... Yes, we do. We've got ourselves a slime chicken. All right, so we'll wait for this breeding cycle to finish real quick. Put the slime chicken up to start becoming triple 10. Slot the next breedable pair in here. And then move on to the next machines. So glad that I was able to make the soul sand and get the... There we go. To get access to those gas tiers so quickly. That was nice. I'm very happy about that. I was worried that due to the low drop chances, even with fortune and sieve efficiency on the meshes, I was worried that I would have to make some here for you all to see, have them sieve, get none, and then, okay, I'm just going to have to off camera make a whole bunch of soul sand and just let it sieve for a good long while to try and get what I needed from it. But thankfully enough, that didn't happen. So that's good. All right. Boop. Grab those. All right. We can go ahead and take our slime chicken. Place it down. Grab it with the net. And that will be on its way to making triple 10s. Very nice. Okie doke. Let's go ahead, since we now have the access to those mob imprisonment tools. Let's put away our chickens. Oh, those are extra iron chickens. That's all right. We'll call them later. Let's see. Next chicken we need is clay and sand. So we're going to take a clay chicken and we're going to take a sand chicken, and that will get us access to silicone. Now we do have some other methods of making silicone right now, but again, I want to have a chicken to do it just for completion's sake. So that's going to run for a bit. Go ahead and eat some meaty stew. We're going to go downstairs, grab those gas tiers. I did go ahead and make up a whole bunch of plastic ahead of time using the method I've shown you before, just to have it ready for if we did get a bunch of gas tiers. Please and thank you. Got to remind myself when I come down here to work next, I'm like, yes, that stone is there. It is there intentionally. I didn't like suddenly have an error or something pop up. But we take the gas tiers, surround it with plastic like this, and now we have mob imprisonment tools. Very nice. I'm not gonna make all of them at the moment. We will put let's see, we'll put the other gas tiers right here. But what we can do now is we can head over here to the pen where we placed all the creatures that spawned randomly that one time. Boop. So now we have a polar bear. Let's go into the pen. We've got an energetic sheep. Energetic sheep, energetic sheep. Now what we can do is we can simply place it down. It doesn't look like it changes the color. Let's see, there's no other information on here. I do know that the different energetic sheep wools have different amount of power to them. So like the white wool has 1062 RF, orange is 1025. I want to say the white one at 1062 has the most RF. Yeah, it looks like it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab the white wool sheep. Boop. And that'll be the one that I put into the spawner. Because with the mob grinder, it will spawn the creature as it stands. Theoretically, it'll keep the wool color, so that means any drops that drop from it will be the white wool, which will get me the most RF when I plug it into the power system. And then grab a rabbit. There we go. So I've got one rabbit. I've got one energetic sheep. I've got one polar bear. The rest of these can go set to the side, which means, unfortunately, you all are no longer required. Hey, I got the achievement Monster Hunter. Oh, and I got a glass hat, because apparently that rabbit was wearing a glass hat. Boop. And... Boop. Come on. Come on. Get the rabbit. There we go. All right. So now when it comes time to redo this area, I don't have to worry about culling the creatures then. I've already got it done now. But I got some raw mutton. I got some loot bags, which I don't care about. I got some XP, which is nice. And some sulfur. Not sure what the sulfur was from. It wasn't from a chicken, obviously. I haven't made a sulfur chicken, but okay. Let's go ahead and put this stuff away. Let's see. So we've got, we'll just put all, let's see. Put all of this stuff in here. We've got the loot bags, which are useless for me. Sulfur, I'm gonna put the sulfur in raw ore for now, even though it's not, it is and it isn't an ore. And then we've got some experience, plenty of experience saved up over here. And then, let's see, I'll put the mob imprisonment tools here for now until I make a specific chest for industrial foregoing. But yeah, I think that'll work quite nicely. We have ourselves the mob imprisonment tools, and once we make the mob grinders, we'll be able to use those to great effect. We're crossbreeding another chicken. Let's see. The next thing that I would like to work on, since we were able to actually get our main goal for this episode done, awesome, is I want to make some gas stuff with mechanism. So the first thing I want to make are some gas tanks. We're going to go ahead and upgrade them all the way to the ultimate gas tanks. So we need osmium and redstone to begin. We have plenty of redstone. We have plenty of osmium. I would like to go ahead. Let's make 4 gas tanks to begin. I'm not going to be making this many types of gas, but I do want to have plenty to play around with just in case. We're going to need the enriched alloys, so we're basically going to go through the alloys here. I did make up a bunch of alloys ahead of time to be safe. I may need to make more, but we'll see. So, basic gas tank. Oops. I made an additional basic gas tank instead. Whoops. Wrong one. So let's try this again. Advanced gas tank. Advanced. So, okay, I have 5 gas tanks now. Oh, well. Whoops. Now we have the elite. 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 I need some more osmium, but that's fine. Didn't mean to make 5, only meant to make 4 for now, but that's okay. They will certainly be used, and worst comes to absolute worst, I can turn them into EMC, so even that's not a big deal. And then finally, the ultimate tanks. we go. These hold the highest amount that I can have right now. There we go. So we've got 5 ultimate tanks. They have 512 capacity, which is essentially 512 buckets of a gas. Now, obviously, you can't really put gas in buckets, although I think there is 1 or 2 types of gas that you actually can put in buckets. But essentially, it's 512 buckets of a gas. Okay, so what I now want to make is the electrolytic separator, which is this right here. What this does is it takes certain fluids and separates them into their component gases. So example, water gets turned into hydrogen and oxygen. Brine gets turned into sodium and chlorine. Heavy water becomes deuterium and oxygen. Mostly, I'm going to be using it to make hydrogen and oxygen for the purifying chamber, as well as to burn for extra power. Why? Because it's yet another source of power. So the electrolytic separator itself is some iron-enriched alloys, and we need the electrolytic core. This is made with enriched alloy, gold, osmium dust, and iron dust. So let's go ahead and grab some materials. We need iron, we need redstone, we need a little bit of gold. I think we needed osmium for it as well. Yes, we need osmium as well. We shall also go ahead and grab the enriched alloys and then head downstairs to work, because we need to crush up some of this material into the powders. Okay, crushing factory. We need some osmium, we need some iron, and we need some gold. Thank you. Okay. We've got the electrolytic core, which, yes, we'll actually need to make a second one. So you know what? Let's go ahead and make a second one real quick, because the other thing I'm making today is the gas burning generator. So back to the crusher, 2 more osmium, another piece of iron, and another piece of gold. There we go. 1 more electrolytic core. Thank you. We make the electrolytic separator, and we're just going to put it down for a second. Let's take a look at the upgrades. So speed and energy, muffling, and that's it. Okay, cool. So we're going to need 8 speed, 8 energy. So that is going to be more of the enriched alloys and osmium dust, more enriched alloys and gold dust. Okay. So we need gold and osmium. Yep, that's what I thought. So let's crush up some osmium. Crush up some gold. We're going to need to make some more enriched alloy. So we'll use a little bit of this redstone here. That takes, oops, wrong button. There we go, enrichment chamber. Let's do that much redstone, compressed. We put that into the infuser. Make 16 of these. I don't think that's going to be enough. We'll probably need to make more, but that's okay. We can do so if necessary. We are going to need some glass. So upstairs we go to get some glass. We've got a fair amount of glass, but we can make more easily enough. Put the core there. All right. So we've got, oh yeah, I need to grab that. Let me go grab the powders that I just made. Okay, crusher. Thank you. So we've got 8 speed upgrades and 8 energy upgrades. Perfect. Okay. Let's set the electrolytic separator. This is kind of being our mechanism corner right now. So let's go ahead and put it, let's put it right here. Let's make it face the correct way. Boop. There we go. So we'll put a water tank here. We put our 2 gas tanks here, and that'll make everything work. While it's installing the upgrades, let's go ahead and grab our water tank, which is now empty because we used it for making all the witch water, so we can quickly fill it up using the water pump, the electric pump. Boop. Please fill the tank, please and thank you. And then we put in the energy upgrades, so 8 speed, and then 8 energy going in. We now have a full tank of water. Beautimous. All right, this is now full at 1.6 megajoules of full storage. We have our 8 speed. We have our 8 energy. We take 1 gas tank, put it here. 1 gas tank, put it here. And put in our water. And that just crushed the amount of power in this thing. But it is... it's creating. There we go. Oh, man. The amount of power this thing just hoovered up. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. My power generation is top notch right now. I am not hurting for power. But you could see how fast this thing just tanked the amount of power that's stored in this thing. But we've got a ton of hydrogen and we've got a ton of oxygen. Some very good gases here. Let me check my batteries real quick just to see. Yeah, it didn't really touch that. That one's still 4651. If that one's 4651, those other 3 are 4651. How's the main battery? Main battery's fine. So yeah, honestly, it simply has to do with the amount of power that the cabling can put through. There's nothing I can really do to upgrade the cabling itself. So it's not going to be an issue to like have power go into this thing. I've just got to remind myself that when I put the power in here, it is going to tank the amount of power that's contained in here. So yeah. We got the hydrogen, the oxygen, and then just watch that thing work. It empties out 112 buckets of water so fast. But like I said, we're getting a very nice amount of hydrogen and a very nice amount of oxygen. There we go. All right. So we've got the hydrogen. We've got the oxygen. Well, what are we going to do with it? We can make it now. What are we going to do with it? So we take the oxygen, and I believe it is in the purifier. Is it in the purifier? Let's take a look. Yes. So what we do is using the purification chamber, which is we have the factory over there. We plug in the oxygen, and it uses 200 millibuckets of oxygen to turn an ore into 3 clumps. Therefore, we can take, let's say, we have a bunch of silver. Let's play with. We'll use the nickel. Why not? So we go into the purifying factory. We take the oxygen, and remember, we have all the upgrades we can. So 8 speed, 8 energy, and 8 gas. So it's going to be using this oxygen more efficiently. We take the oxygen tank, plug it in here. This is now full of oxygen. We take the nickel ore, put it in here, and it does nothing. Okay, let's try the silver. There we go. So yeah, it's now using the oxygen. And since I'm not going to be moving the machine, I can just leave the... I'm not going to leave the oxygen tank in here. I'm going to pull it out when I'm done. But I can leave the oxygen stored in here. But now, from all of that... from all of those silver ores, we have silver clumps. We take the clumps, put them into the crusher to make dirty silver dust. We put the dust into the enrichment chamber to make clean dust, and then we cook that up. So we now have access to ore tripling. So we go to the crusher, crunch all this up. So this is going to be very useful for making sure we squeeze as much as we can from every sieving, every ore we get. That can be ore tripled. It's going to go in here. Now, I am not lacking for ores right now. I've got a lot that has been just kind of saved up from, let's see, Enrichment Factory. I've got a lot of ores that I've gotten just from, you know, grinding up the stuff that I've been getting as I've been working on other things. So things like silver and iron, I don't need a lot of. I have so much of it already stored up. But some basic things, especially like iron, with how much I use iron for the, you know, I use iron to make the enriched alloys. I use the enriched alloys to make the other alloys, and so on. There's definitely going to be certain things where anytime I get the ore, it needs to go into the ore triple. It needs to go into the ore quad to get as much of it as I can, just to keep up with production. I haven't reached that point yet, but with some of the machines I'll be able to make and use, I'll be pretty dang close. Okay, got that. Got that. Got that. Just going through my list here of stuff that I wanted to make. But yeah, from that not even full stack of silver ore, I've gotten 2+ stacks of silver ingots. Nearly 3 stacks of silver ingots. That makes 19 blocks of silver. So that is awesome. And again, I can do that with iron, I can do that with osmium, I can do that with a bunch of the materials. Not all of them, obviously, as you saw, but a bunch of them. Now, I have a bunch of oxygen. I have a bunch of hydrogen. What can you do with the hydrogen? Well, there's a jetpack that you can make. Don't really need a jetpack right now, especially with the jump boost on my boots. But I can make the gas burning generator. With a gas burning generator, I can put the hydrogen gas in there and make a crap ton of power. So we need some steel casings, which is steel, glass, and osmium. So let's go ahead, grab some glass. We'll grab some steel. And let's make ourselves a gas burning generator. We already have the other electrolytic core that we made earlier. So we need 2 steel casings. Thank you. Make the gas burning generator like so. We'll set it down real quick just to take a look at it. No upgrades that we can use, obviously, but we just take the hydrogen tank, put it in there, and it generates power. So let's go ahead and empty out our inventory. Boop, 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 boop. Put away the glass. There we go. Put away the enriched alloys. And downstairs, I actually have a spot already set aside for this right here, because these are the 3 main mechanism generators. So we take the gas burning generator, we set it up like so. Now, of course, we do have a lot of piping spots that we can pipe the gas in, but I can also just take the container, boop, and do that. So now this is creating, yeah, this is creating so much power. Let's see. Yeah, you can actually watch it hyper go up. It creates the power so fast. Now, it's not wasting anything. I want to be very clear. It's not wasting any of the gas. because of look how fast it's pumping into all of the batteries. We'll go ahead and take the tank out. And bloop. There we go. I can even just take it and go bloop. Back out if I want to. But yeah, the only thing of concern, and it's not really a concern because again, the hydrogen right now is almost a byproduct of making the oxygen for ore tripling, is the fact of the less hydrogen is in the system, the slower the burn rate is. But that really doesn't make much of a difference because again, I pop the hydrogen in here, this thing fills, and I now get a ton of power to my entire system. You saw how fast it was filling up 4 batteries. Yeah, I again am not going to have any issues with power generation whatsoever. Oh no, my power system is running low from running 20 different machines. Whatever am I going to do? Let me stick my hydrogen tank in there and now I have all the power. Now, to be fair, there are going to be definitely some machines later on that absolutely, without question, will just be consuming power at an incredible rate. They are designed to be taking like megajoules of power a second to run, to do all the processes they need to. But I ain't there yet. We've got our sand chicken, we've got our clay chicken. We don't have our silicone chicken yet, but that's all right. Let's see. Shown off the gas burning. Since we were able to achieve our primary goal, let's go ahead and do a little bit of stuff with Botania to round things off. So for Botania, we have our... Are you guys just gonna be like continuing to spawn because these are grassy, well-lit areas? That is quite funny. So this is effectively what happened previously when I first made this area completely full of grass blocks and having the mega torches set up. Was I came over, I was working over here with some machines. I like looked over and saw that there was a bunch of the passive mobs that had spawned over here. Again, completely unintentional. You know, my goal was not to have this area be a spawn spot for passive mobs. But I'm guessing because this area is far enough away from over there that passive creatures can spawn. If I go over there now, since there's another grass area with no possibility of hostiles to spawn, fully lit, will I have passive spawn over here? No, I won't. Interesting. So if I go back over here, like I don't want to have a cycle where I'm like constantly spawning passives on one side of my base or the other. It's just interesting that, you know, I came over here and it's like, oh, there's a bunch of passive creatures spawned over here. Okay, maybe it's only when I first load and unload the game that it does it, or maybe if I go downstairs and then come back up. I'm just testing this real quick just to see, because I'm curious. Again, I do need to put the mega torches up in the corners. But if I take a look, any new passive critters? Well, it's not going to be down there. Nothing new here. And And it doesn't look like anything new on the other side. Again, it doesn't really matter. I just don't want to be like continuously bebopping back and forth, having creatures spawn in the areas, either messing up something I'm making, which is not likely to happen, or just, hey, I happened to kill a creature that was, you know, in an area. I get something that I wanted to show off on camera. Now I can't. No biggie either way. Anyway, back to Botania, because we're going to be finishing up pretty soon. With our current Botania setup, we have the 8. Okay, sheep, make me a fibber. Sheep and rabbits making me a fibber over here. Anyway, we'll ignore them for now. So we have the 8 Endoflames. Not sure why it says progression 5. Don't know what the progression 5 means, but that's fine. Anyway, so we've got the mana pool, we've got the Endoflames around it, we've got the mana spreader. I want to go ahead and, while I can't increase the amount of mana that I'm generating yet, because I don't have access to the lens yet, I do want to increase the amount of mana storage that I have. So to do that, I'm going to make a mana splitter. So with the mana splitter, it is simply some living rock and some mana steel ingots, which I have not a lot of living rock, but enough. What this does is I set it down. Again, don't know why it says 5%, whatever. The mana spreader will be pointed at the mana splitter. The mana splitter will have 4... Yeah, everything is saying progression 5. Don't know why. That's very weird. Strange. Each of the sides of the mana splitter here will have a mana pool attached to it. So let's go ahead and make 3 more mana pools. Just 3, because I already have one over there. And so the mana that is generated from the mana... the mana generated from the flowers will go into the spreader. The spreader will then fire it at the splitter, and it will be spread evenly throughout all 4 of the pools. That way there's much less chance of accidentally creating too much mana and then boop, 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 and boop, boop, boop. Perfect. So there's much less chance of me accidentally overfilling a pool. So let's move it to be back here for the moment. I'm gonna need space for the things themselves, the flowers. Let's put it here. 1 pool, 2, 3, and 4. I made sure previously that the pool itself was empty. We take the mana spreader, put it here. It's pointing that way. We're going to point it downwards. Actually, I want to have it 1 block up. So I'm going to borrow the pool real quick. Put the pool here, the spreader there. The only reason that I want to have it 1 block up is so I can see the lens that's on it when it comes time that I put a lens on it. There. Okay. So mana spreader is there. It points down to the splitter. The splitter will then distribute to all 4 of these pools. We're going to take the Endoflames, place them here. Actually, there. Which one am I missing? There. Perfect. Okay. So again, this spreader at the moment can only handle 8 Endoflames. It can handle like maybe up to 10 before it actually starts wasting mana. But at the very least, we got 8. All of these should be connected to the spreader. Perfect. Just making sure. And then all of the pools themselves are empty. Cool. All right. Got that. We'll go ahead and test it by tossing some... let's toss some charcoal at it. Head on over and grab some charcoal, which I've got tons of. There we go. We can put away those two for the second. So one thing I kind of miss about using the apple juice for my food source is having the nice little speed buff to like run from one side of my base to another. Okay. So we've got our mana tablets. We've got our ring of magnetization. All we have to do is take these charcoal blocks, toss them here. That should be well within the range. Perfect. And there we go. Yep, the mana spreader is not overfilling. We can tell because the green bar is not even hitting that first little mark. All of the endo flames are connected to the mana spreader, which we checked already. And as we can see, all 4 mana pools are now gaining a small amount of mana. So, again, I can run this thing more often without worrying about overfilling it. I can just take from one mana pool if I need to. I can move mana from one pool to another if necessary. And then once I put the lens on here, that's even more mana that I can store at one time. Right. Let's see. I think I would like to make the runic altar. The runic altar is just more living rock and a mana diamond or a mana pearl, which I don't quite have access to yet. Let's go ahead and grab... I already have some mana diamonds made up. In fact, there's mana diamond there. And then we got the living rock. So, like so, we've got ourselves a runic altar. Now, if you've seen way back when I did regrowth, we did quite a nice amount of stuff with the runic altar. You can make a lot of things with it. You can make the runes of water and fire, earth, and just two recipes for earth, runes of air, all the different colors of runes of air. Not really colors, but because you have different types of carpet, you can make multiple recipes for runes of air. Runes of summer and spring, so the different seasons, again, because of the different colors of wool. Rune of lust and gluttony. You can make player heads for some silly reason. But yeah, a lot of these runes are going to be used for making some of the different other plants. So what you do to activate this is you place the runic altar down, you put the stuff on top of it, and then you give it some mana, and that creates the thing. An easier way to do that, since I don't want to be changing the direction that the mana splitter or the mana... Not mana splitter. Thank you. Give me the right word, please. Mana spreader. Thank you. Brain's being weird. Mana spreader. I don't want to be changing the direction that is facing all the time. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to make a spark. Sparks are pretty easy. Blaze powder, gold nuggets, and any of the different petals. And what this will do is transfer the mana from a mana pool into something that needs to use mana, but only when it's actually using it. So we've got... let's see. We've got a fair amount of, let's say, the black petals. We have plenty of gold nuggets, and we have quite a bit of blaze powder. So we're going to make, let's make 5 sparks is plenty enough for me. Hey, and we got the achievement, Live Drive. Take a look at Botania. There we go. Make a spark to help transfer mana around. Perfect. We can go ahead and put away the gold. We can put away the blaze powder. And Put the pedal back. Something booming outside. Apologies if you can hear that. Not sheep and bunnies, please stop spawning in my base. I'm telling you. We still don't have a slime chicken. We've only got clay. I'm gonna wait here for just a moment to get this final breeding done and then take these chickens out of here, because I don't want to possibly get a slime chicken off camera. But we're gonna set up the runic altar. We're gonna make something on it, and we're gonna call that good. Because we're running a little over time, which is fine. But also, I don't want whatever is booming outside to be that noticeable in the recording. I don't think you should be able to hear it, but just to be on the safe side in case it gets louder. Bloop. Okay. Nope. Unfortunately, we did not get our slime chicken, but that's okay. We can set that up at the beginning of the next episode to try and get that done. Have some meaty stew from all the running around we've been doing. All right, so what these do, there are the quote-unquote augments that you can make for the sparks. What they do is they basically make it to where if you set a spark to be dominant, it will automatically pull mana from every other pool into it. If you make it recessive, it will automatically push mana from the pool into something else. I don't want to make them dominant or recessive or anything like that. I just want them to simply have mana flow when it's needed. So I'm going to put the 4 sparks like so. So now anytime that I have a process such as the runic altar that requires mana, which I believe, if I looked at it correctly, yes, it does require a little bit of mana. It will automatically pull that mana from the sparks to supply it. Okay, so let's set it right here. We've got to do a wee bit of magic because we can't place the spark on top. So what we need to do, grab a piece of dirt. I want it to be right here. So we place the spark. I know there's a way to do this. I'm trying to remember the exact method. Nope, that just places the spark. Let's see. I don't think you can put a spark on top of the Petal Apothecary. Nope. I'll have to look into it. Because again, I do remember there's a way to. Actually, let's do it this way. Okay. One moment, we got to tinker here for a second. So, we're gonna need to take the mana out of that pool. Okay. This mana pool is now empty. Actually, let me take off my Ring of Magnetization just to be on the safe side. Okay. That mana pool is now empty. No mana in it at all. Pick that up. Pick up the Runic Altar. Pick up the mana pool, which breaks the spark. We put the pool down right here. If we pick, yeah, because if we then pick up the pool, it's going to break the spark. Like that. Maybe they changed it to where you can't do it over the Runic Altar. Very interesting. I have to play around with that. Apologies. But in any event, I want the runic altar to be right here. So yeah, what you do with the altar, the spark will be used for something else. If nothing else, the spark will be used for something else. Again, we can use it to make these different runes. What do I want to make? We'll be definitely going through next time to make all of the different runes, because there's a lot to make. And I'll be using a lot of the different runes to make like special flowers and such. Especially the mana lens is what I'm mostly looking for. I believe it's the mana lens of potency, which takes the rune of fire, which takes netherwort, which we don't have yet. Okay, yeah. I guess polar bears. This is not a polar region. Why are you Oh, I mean, it's funny that these creatures keep spawning. I'm not complaining. It's just, hi. Oh, why are you attacking me? Okay, I mean, sure. In that case, you will have to go goodbye. maybe because it had the baby polar bear, it was like, oh, you got too close to my baby polar bear. That creates aggro. What I think I might end up doing is just capturing all the creatures that spawn and putting them into this pen. Hi there. Putting them into this pen over here. Just so that way they don't keep spawning in other parts of my base. Because not super annoying, but it would be kind of annoying to, hey, I'm working on something over here. Oh, a polar bear has spawned. Oh, well, now I'm getting attacked by said polar bear because I got too close to its, you know, its child or something. At least I'm getting a lot of power from all this energetic wool. Alrighty, but yeah, I guess in that case, we'll just go ahead and call it good there. I'll need to put together the materials to make the different runes. But yeah, next time we can start off with some rune making. I can do some more digging off camera to begin creating the area for the mob grinders. Now that we have the mob imprisonment tools. Yeah, so I think probably next time we'll be doing some more Botania. We'll be doing some probably Botania. We'll do some mob grinder stuff. Yeah, I think that sounds good. And perhaps we can also do a trip to the Nether. But until next time, thank you all so very much for watching. Apologies for the odd ending to this episode. Trying to do a couple things and more creatures spawning. I hope you have a good day and good game.